My name is Steve Carroll, and I'm the Director of Secondary Professional and Paraprofessional Talent in the TASER Department of Victoria ISD. TASER stands for Talent, Acquisition, Support, and Retention, and can also be thought of as our HR department. Our objectives for today are that the substitute teacher will understand district expectations, understand their responsibilities and obligations both in and out of the classroom, become familiar with classroom management strategies, and become familiar with school safety procedures. First, let me begin by saying thank you to all of our substitute teachers in Victoria ISD. VISD has over 800 teachers and over 500 paraprofessionals servicing approximately 13,000 students. As you can imagine, even on a normal school day, we would have dozens of staff out for personal business, personal or family illness, or staff development. Without you, we would not be able to operate. You literally save the day each and every day, and we appreciate you answering the call. The mission of VISD guides our work every day, and it is to provide rigorous, relevant learning and life experiences so that all students contribute positively to society. Our vision is achieving excellence for all, every child, every classroom, every day. For those of you who are new to Victoria or just new to VISD, it may be interesting to know that we are divided into an east and west feeder pattern. Students attending Howell and STEM middle schools feed into Victoria East High School, and students attending Cade and Patty Welder middle schools feed into Victoria West High School. We have 14 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 2 high schools. In addition, we have an early childhood center, a career and technology institute, and the Victoria Student Success Academy. Addresses, phone numbers, and further information on each of these campuses can be found on the VISD website. As a substitute, you may be wondering what your responsibilities are. There are many, but here are just a few. You should be punctual and adhere to the classroom schedule. It's extremely important to be on time and not late. If you are late, students may not be supervised, and this could create a safety issue. Don't assume that if you are late, that someone else will be there to take your place. Schools rely on substitutes to be on time, and if they had someone else to take your place, they wouldn't have called for a sub to begin with. Also, maintain order in the classroom. Classroom management is key to student safety and student learning, and we will spend more time on this later in the presentation. Follow the teacher's lesson plans in sequence and fulfill all responsibilities of the teacher, including extra duty. Please know that lesson plans are not optional. Teachers follow a curriculum with a scope and sequence. If the lesson plans are not followed, the teacher cannot get that day back. There will be less time for future lessons, and student learning will be affected. Your adherence to lesson plans are critical. Supervise the students assigned to the regular classroom teacher at all times. Students thrive under structure, and appropriate supervision greatly minimizes safety and discipline issues. Please understand that you cannot leave the campus during work hours, and understand that you are not entitled to the teacher's conference period and may be asked by the principal to substitute for another class during that time. The conference period is not for personal business. You are to remain on campus and prepare for the next class. Lunch should be brought with you to the campus. Also, understand that the campus may change your assignment once you arrive. This rarely happens, but there may be a day when there are many staff out due to illness, and it could be the only way to provide effective coverage. Your cooperation is very much appreciated. Please understand that you must not use corporal punishment and that there must be no inappropriate physical contact at any time with any students. This is for your students' protection and for your protection. Understand that you must never sexually harass a student or an employee, whether verbally or physically. Be very cognizant of this, as your behavior must be beyond reproach. Never be in a room with a student by yourself. And understand that you must follow all VISD policies and procedures. It's your responsibility to familiarize yourself with the substitute handbook and with all district policies and procedures, which can be accessed on the VISD homepage at visd.net. As a substitute, there are several matters regarding employment that you should be aware of. All subs are employed on an at-will basis and are not considered contractual employees. They are not employed for any specific length of time and have no property right in the employment. Substitutes do not have Chapter 21 rights. Chapter 21 contracts are probationary or term contracts issued to teachers and other district professionals. Employers may terminate at-will employees at any time for any reason or for no reason, except for legally impermissible reasons. As an at-will employee, you are free to resign at any time for any reason or for no reason. Subs are also not guaranteed work at any specific campus, grade level, or other location. And the district has the right to deny access to specific grades, teachers, campuses, or locations. A few reasons for excluding subs from any substitute assignment include, but are not limited to, not showing up for an assignment, declining an assignment to accept another assignment, not accepting a job, or unacceptable or inappropriate behavior. As a substitute, you are obligated to complete one assignment before starting another, even if your favorite assignment becomes available after you have accepted another. If you are unable to complete your original assignment, notify the principal or campus secretary immediately so other arrangements can be made. Remember that job shopping creates unfilled jobs. Additionally, substitutes may not be eligible for unemployment compensation benefits drawn on school district wages during any scheduled school break, including but not limited to the summer, winter, and spring breaks. And continuation of employment is contingent on school operations and will not apply in the event of any disruption that is beyond the control of the district. Substitutes often accept jobs well in advance, sometimes weeks in advance. Please keep a calendar and remain true to your assignment. If you are not able to make the assignment, please notify the campus well in advance and give them plenty of time to find someone else. We understand that just like teachers and paraprofessionals, substitutes may sometimes fall ill at the last minute. If you have accepted a job but become ill, please contact the campus as soon as possible. Texas educators are governed by a code of ethics, which can be found on the VISD website under Board Policy DH Exhibit. A summary of these include the following. You should create a positive and engaging environment. Exemplify the higher standards for professional commitment. Do not intentionally misrepresent VISD official policies. Never reveal confidential information concerning students or teachers. Never willfully make false statements about teachers or the school system. Deal considerately and justly with each student. And never intentionally disparage students. In addition to the Code of Ethics, there are other administrative expectations. First, be sure to sign in and out at the office. Campus office staff need to know whether or not the substitute has arrived. Second, follow the lesson plan. Notify the secretary if lesson plans were not left, or ask a partner teacher if you have any questions. Teachers or other staff are always very happy to assist you. They want you to be successful, so don't hesitate to reach out to them if you need assistance. Third, computers are not available for your use. Do not ask students for their login or password information. Fourth, be discreet when instructions are left for students who attend support classes, and do not announce to the entire class. Some students do receive assistance through special services, and their participation in these programs are considered confidential. Fifth, do not leave during a teacher's conference period. Prep for the next class or check in with the office to see if you are needed elsewhere. Remember that prepping for the next class will help you feel more confident and better prepared to assist students. And finally, be on time, or better yet, be early. The earlier you arrive, the more time you will have to locate lesson plans and materials, to read over them and prepare for delivery. The more prepared you are, the more confident you will feel, and projecting confidence is also very important in managing a classroom. Now we will go into more detail about what to do before, during, and after class. Before class, Arrive at least 30 minutes early to review. Locate your subfolder. Review the daily schedule. Locate attendance rosters and seating charts. Review lesson plans and ancillary materials. Write your name and the assignments on the board. Introduce yourself to teammates nearby. And check to see if you have a duty station, and if so, report to the assigned location. As students arrive, stand at the classroom door. Standing in the doorway allows you to supervise the hallway and the classroom at the same time. It also gives you the opportunity to greet each student. This is important in establishing a positive rapport with the students. At the beginning of the class, introduce yourself and state expectations. Take attendance, be enthusiastic, and maintain classroom control. Scan the classroom frequently to ensure students are listening and being respectful. If you need to stop speaking to gain their attention, do so while maintaining eye contact. Then begin again. Do not talk over students, as yelling does not work. During class, follow the lesson plans. We have spoken about this previously, but it's worth mentioning again. A teacher being out is not a free day for students. Learning needs to continue so as not to get behind. Please do your very best to follow the lesson plans provided. Also, actively monitor the students. Effective monitoring does not take place behind the teacher desk. To monitor effectively, you must be on your feet, scanning the classroom and teaching from multiple vantage points. You must be aware of what all students are doing at all times. Maintain classroom control and seek help if necessary. If you do need help, classrooms are equipped with call buttons. Never leave the classroom to seek help. Leaving students unsupervised is not safe. And make notations for the teacher, both academic and behavioral. The more descriptive you can be on your notes, the better it will help the teacher when he or she returns. A teacher will often request the same substitute in the future when they see that lesson plans were followed and detailed notes were left. Please keep students in class as much as possible. Some students may see the teacher being out as an opportunity to misbehave. For these reasons, it's important to keep them in class. Refer students to the nurse, counselor, or administrator if necessary. And take care of classroom materials and ensure students are also respecting the classroom materials. Here are a few ideas of what to do if a student completes work early. You can ask them if they have any other homework from another class to complete, or ask if they have a book or novel to read. They could preview for the next lesson, or write a summary of what they learned from the lesson that you currently were on. You can give them an additional assignment related to the lesson. You can consult with a partner teacher if one is available, or you can have a discussion with the student about the content presented in the lesson. All teachers have a conference period. During this conference period, be sure and check the teacher's mailbox for any flyers that might need to go home with students. You can also begin preparing a note for the teacher. You could check or grade student work, but only if the teacher has asked you to do so. Make note of students who did not complete assignments, or prep for the next class. Please remember that you can be reassigned to cover a different class during a conference period in the event of a severe shortage of staff. After class, you must dismiss students according to schedule. This is very important, especially in elementary, that you are aware of how each student is getting at home. Are they a walker, car rider, bus rider, or are they being picked up on the front porch? Each campus has their own dismissal procedures. Make sure you are familiar with these, and if you have any questions, be sure and ask. Make a note of how each student was dismissed. This is critical. Also, perform after-school duties that the teacher might have. This is very important so that you may keep the students safe. Again, leave a detailed note for the teacher and clean up any materials used during the lesson. Here are a few items requiring school approval. Please know that students are not excused to leave school. under any circumstances without office permission. No written communication should be sent to the parents unless directed to do so by an administrator or teacher. Accidents involving any of the students under your supervision must be reported to the office immediately. Under no circumstances should a substitute administer any medications, oral or topical, and send all medical concerns or needs to the nurse with a nurse slip. Our next section will deal with classroom management. Classroom management refers to all the things that a teacher does to organize students, space, time, and materials so that instruction and content and student learning can take place. Here are a few tips for success. First, be very clear on your expectations. Don't assume that the students know what they are. You must state them. Keep students on task. Interact with students positively and show that you are confident. Avoid getting students off task with personal conversations. Be consistent and maintain a sense of humor. With classroom management, engaging students is very important. Be sure that you have the attention of everyone in your classroom before you start the lesson, and do not attempt to teach over the chatter of students not paying attention. Make sure you begin each class by telling the students exactly what will be happening. And finally, monitor by actively moving around the room. Check on progress and provide individualized instruction as needed. Teachers who are courteous, prompt, enthusiastic, in control, patient, and organized are great role models, and students who see that will model that behavior. And finally, don't forget that nonverbal cues can be used very effectively. These can be facial expressions, body posture, hand signals, or proximity to a student. Be sure to maintain discipline in the classroom at all times, and should discipline problems occur, follow the campus discipline plan. As stated before, do not administer corporal punishment or physical contact of any kind. Exhibit enthusiasm and confidence, as these are visible indicators to students and often set the tone for student behavior. Tell the student what you want instead of what you don't want. Be consistent. Students will resent it if you appear to make allowances for some students and not for others. Remember that you are the adult. Always take the high road. Anger, sarcasm, threats, and belittling remarks have no place in the classroom. And finally, remain calm at all times. The tone, pitch, and volume of your voice will strongly influence a student. Be loud enough to be heard, but do not yell. Yelling will cause the students to yell and react. When redirecting a student, do so privately and respectfully. Do not do so where the entire class can hear you. Be pleasant when you're doing it, yet firm. Get at the student's eye level, but not in their personal space. Help them to understand why their behavior may not be acceptable, and encourage them to think of an alternative solution. Help the student to see the consequences to his or her actions. When you choose to do blank, you choose to blank. Attempt to give the student options or choices which will allow him or her to maintain dignity. Here are some suggestions for verbal guidance. Again, speak directly to students. Be brief, firm, and positive. Use start requests versus stop requests. For example, instead of saying, please start your math assignment, say, please start your math assignment, as opposed to saying, please stop arguing with me. Also, would you please sit down is better than you need to sit down. Responding in a calm, matter-of-fact way is better than yelling or giving ultimatums. And be sure to reinforce compliance. If you see students or certain student table groups following directions and being on task, you can say that publicly. For example, I really like the way tables 2 and 3 are following the directions today. A reminder again on physical contact, do not touch students. Touch can be interpreted in multiple ways, so contact the office if a student attempts to touch you or if you observe a questionable activity. Now, a little bit about special education. Special education refers to a range of services that help students with disabilities learn. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Students receiving special education services have an individualized education plan, or IEP, that spells out the accommodations both academically and/or behaviorally that the student needs in order to access a curriculum. It is crucial that the student receives his or her accommodations, and these are usually left in the teacher's subfolder or are listed on the lesson plans themselves. Please remember that anything related to special education is confidential. If a student takes medication during school hours, the student's parent must provide the medication to the school, not the student. All medication, whether prescription or non-prescription, must be kept in the nurse's office and be administered by the nurse or another authorized district employee. A student may be authorized to possess his or her own medication because of asthma or a severe allergy, but only if there is a written authorization from both the parent and the physician. You are not allowed to administer any under or over-the-counter medication. Please know that all students are considered minors regardless of their age. Staff may not establish relationships with students and do not establish friendships with students. Do not ask for personal information and report any concerns or problems to the office immediately. Do not impose your religious beliefs on anyone. Do not address religious beliefs with students. And do not get involved in discussions regarding religion, even if it's the students that initiate the conversation. And finally, do not distribute religious texts or books to the students. Now on to electronic devices. Please understand that your cell phones must be on silence or turned off during your assignment. And do not answer a call or make a call while students are present. Electronic media includes all forms of social media, such as text messaging, electronic mail, blogs, chat rooms, video sharing websites, or social network sites. Confidentiality is expected from all employees dealing with any information concerning students or incidents that occur on a campus. Nothing should be shared in writing or verbally, in person or via electronic media. Do not take pictures of students, even if the student says it's okay. And do not take pictures with students if they ask. Inform the office if you have a question or problem in your classroom with photography. It's important to remember to never give students your cell phone number. Also, do not ask students for their cell phone number. Do not use cell phones while students are in class, even if they are busy working on an assignment. And never share your social media pages or make requests to friend students on their social media pages. A person commits a criminal offense if the person is in possession of a burning tobacco product, smokes tobacco, or operates an e-cigarette or vapes anywhere on school property. An employee shall not manufacture, dispense, possess, use, or be under the influence of the following substances during work hours while at school or at school-related activities: any controlled substance, dangerous drug, or alcoholic beverage. Here are a few legal reasons to be taken off the substitute list: immorality, conviction of any felony or other crime involving moral turpitude, drunkenness or being over-medicated, failure to comply with official directives and establish school board policy and confidentiality, or physical or mental incapacity preventing performance of the contract of employment. Now on to safety. In the event of a fight, you may need to initiate a wound clear. If this occurs, stay calm and tell students to go immediately to a designated area. Next, notify the administrator's office for assistance. and then remove any sharp objects near the fight. The central goal in the midst of a school-wide emergency is to ensure the safety and comfort of students and staff. Rational and effective thinking on the part of each staff member is the key to this goal. In this training, you will receive only a very brief introduction to safety measures that VISD has in place in the event of a school emergency. You will receive separate and additional trainings that cover the Standard Response Protocol, ALICE, and the Standard Reunification Method. So very briefly in this training, the Standard Response Protocol governs our response to an emergency situation and includes directions for how to hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and/or shelter. ALICE governs our response to an intruder or active shooter emergency and is option-based depending on how the situation evolves. Finally, the Standard Reunification Method governs how to reunite students with parents in the event of an emergency. And again, you will receive separate trainings on these safety responses. Frontline is a VISD's automated substitute placement and absence management system, and all personnel can access this service through the phone or internet anytime and anywhere. You may call or log in online to Frontline. To call, dial 1-880-942-3767, or to log in, use www.frontlinek12.com/ASOP. Here you can find available jobs, review or cancel upcoming jobs, review or cancel a specific job, or review or change your personal information. If an available job has not been filled by another substitute 2 days before the absence is scheduled to start, Frontline will automatically start calling substitutes trying to fill the job. Keep in mind, when Frontline calls you, it will be calling about one job at a time, even if you are eligible for other jobs. And you can always call into Frontline to hear a list of all available jobs. When you receive a call from Frontline, you can listen to available jobs, prevent Frontline from calling again today, tell Frontline the sub that it's trying to reach is not available, and you can prevent Frontline from ever calling again. There are excellent videos available on YouTube that provide further training on how to navigate and use Frontline effectively. Our next section will cover substitute pay rates. Before you can begin substituting at VISD, you must complete all the employee-required trainings. If you do not complete those employee-required trainings, you will not be allowed to substitute. Teacher substitutes can apply for a $40 payment for completing all their VISD employee-required trainings, but only after they substitute at least 10 full-time days in the teacher sub role during the current school year. And once they've done that, they self-initiate and submit a written request by emailing taser@visd.net requesting the $40 payment. The substitute pay rates for teachers are as follows. First, if you're certified in Texas, which means you hold a valid Texas teaching certificate, you will earn $110 per day. If you're subbing in a long-term position, perhaps the teacher is out on maternity leave or maybe has an illness that's keeping them out for an extended period of time. If you're subbing in a long-term position such as that, you will earn $115 per day. And if you are substituting in a long-term position, but there is no teacher in that position because it's vacant, you would earn $140 per day. If that vacant position is at Patty Welder or STEM Middle School, you would earn $155 per day. If you do not hold a Texas teaching certificate, but you do have a bachelor's or master's degree, you will earn $90 per day. If subbing in a long-term position, you would earn $95 per day. If that long-term position is vacant, you would earn $120 per day. And if that vacant position is at Patty Welder or STEM Middle School, you would earn $135 per day. If you have a high school diploma or GED, you would earn $80 per day. If the position is long-term, you earn $90 per day. And if that long-term position is in a vacant position, you would earn $115 per day. If that vacant position is at Patty Welder or STEM Middle Schools, you would earn $130 per day. If substituting for paraprofessionals, you would earn $70 per day. If it is a long-term position, you would earn $75 per day. If substituting for an RN, you would earn $106 per day. And if that's a long-term position, you would earn $111 per day. If you're substituting for an LVN, you would earn $84 per day. And if substituting in a long-term position, you would earn $89 per day. It's important to define what long-term substituting is. After working at least 10 consecutive days in one position, the long-term pay rate will be paid beginning on day 11 if you are still serving in that same role. And then it will be applied retroactively to days 1 through 10. Please note that any break in service will require that you meet the 10 consecutive day rule again. We have special sub-pay rates as well. Teachers will be paid an additional $10 over the established teacher substitute daily rates if they substitute on a Monday, a Friday, the date immediately preceding a holiday, or the date immediately after a student holiday. Please note that this additional $10 does not apply to long-term substitutes who already earn additional pay per day. Finally, please note that half-day jobs will be half the daily rate. Classroom teacher substitute workers are also eligible for a one-time acquisition stipend. If you work full-time, 50% of student days in the fall semester, you will receive $750. If you work full-time, 50% of student days in the spring semester, you will earn an additional $750. When you are substituting, you may wear slacks or dresses, collared shirts or a skirt, and on Fridays, you may wear jeans with a school t-shirt. You are not allowed to wear halter tops, jeans on any other day, shorts, t-shirts, caps, or flip-flops. I want to thank you for participating in this substitute training, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to Ms. Vicki Rojas at vicky.rojas@visd.net. Again, thank you so much for serving as a VISD substitute. We appreciate you and hope that you have a great year.